Good evening and welcome to this special edition of Showtime TV. I'm your host, Omar Rashada. This is part one. This is part one of three. We got this play coming up. It's called Three Men, Three Women, The Stories of Six Strangers. It's going to be taking place at the Wilmington Music School, located at 4101 Washington Street, Wilmington, Delaware, 19802, January 7th, 2023 at 7 p.m. So we have a couple of all these big time famous people that's on now. I'm so nervous and scared, but I hope let me get through it. So we got some of the characters from the play. We have Apostle Terrence Walker. We have Latoya, the supermodel, and we have Doshi Keys. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to Showtime TV. And thank you for being a guest.
Glad to be here.
Thank you. Glad to be here. It's an honor. Yes, indeed.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, everybody. How you doing?
All right. So what we're going to do? We're going to start off. Well, before we get into the play, I want the audience just to give a background of who you are. What do you do? Maybe your education. Just whatever you want to share for a couple of minutes of who you are and what you do outside the theater. So we want to get to know the person. So we're going to start off with Apostle Walker.
Well, my name is Apostle Terrence Walker. I am one of the greatest roles that I have is as a father and a husband to three kids and father to my wife, Chavez. I am a pastor of Disciples of Faith Fellowship. We are a nonprofit organization. We work in Delaware. I do nonprofit work in Delaware as well, but my real passion is preaching the gospel. I do a lot of live streaming as well as some podcasts. So moving into a lot of different areas, but this one is a brand new area for me. And it was a great opportunity that was offered to me and I just couldn't turn it down. So I'm excited about going into another opportunity to reach the community.
All right, Latoya.
Yes. Hi, everybody. My name is Latoya Brad Richards. I am the founder and CEO of the Fashion Steppers, which is the youth empowerment group. I am also the current Miss Essence World Elite of Delaware and also the national title Miss Grand Royal Elite of Miss Essence World. I'm a fashion designer, a choreographer, a drum instructor, and I'm also a business owner of Shanae Slay Boutique. And actually, this is a wonderful opportunity. This is actually going to be my second stage play that I'm in. So I am so honored to be a part of this. I'm also a mother of one, and I'm going to say a godmom of one. So I have two children, which is one is my daughter. She's actually 17. She'll be 18 next week. And my godson is 11 years old. And my mission and vision is to building up the youth of today for a better tomorrow. So everything I do, I take all my opportunities to enhance my growth and development. So therefore I can share it with the youth and stuff in the community and build up the community. So I'm excited to work with all you guys people. And I'm excited. That's
Dr. Perkins, Doshi.
Good evening, everybody. I don't have much to say. Listen, I'm a native Wilmingtonian, love the stage, but it all started with the church. I retired from the state of Delaware. I'm currently a teacher. And listen, I love the stage.
All right, that's awesome. That's awesome. Now, this is the second time go around of this play, Three Men, Three Women, The Stories of Six Strangers. We presented it August 27th at the Wilmington Drama League, and we're bringing it back in January the 7th, 2023. So Doshi, you was part of the original cast, and we made a few changes because everyone wasn't able to return. So I want to ask Latoya and Apostle Walker, start off with Latoya. When you got the invitation to be part of the play, what was your immediate reaction? Let's start off with Latoya.
When I got the invitation, my immediate reaction was like, ooh, somebody see me. I must got some skills to pay the bills. I was excited. That's exactly what I did. I was like, ooh, yes. And then I said, ooh, let me find out the details so I can confirm right now. So I was excited and honored. And I was just like, I didn't even know. I was just like, ooh, yes, play. They see me. I must got skills. Somebody see me. I'm important.
All right. Now, Apostle Walker, I don't know if this is your first play or not, but what was your immediate reaction when you got the invitation to be part of the play?
You know what? I was overjoyed. Let me tell you something. I was totally shocked. When you talk, when I asked you, I said, why did you even think about me? and you talked about, you know, hearing some of my just my voice and my presence on you know, on the streaming service, and I was just amazed. You know, I had my focus really on the gospel, preaching the gospel, and to have this opportunity to really be able to expand in this way, man, it was just phenomenal. You know, I did some comedy, believe it or not, in college.
Okay.
And I kind of thought, like, you know, okay, all those days are behind me. I'm now focused here. But to have this opportunity, I was just overjoyed and I'm excited.
Right. As a playwright, when I do casting, sometimes God helps you cast your people. I was on Annette Fletcher's page, and she had this beauty pageant live, right? So I was watching it, and I saw, you know, Latoya, and she won the crown, and then God put in my mind, you know what, she'd be a great narrator. But I didn't realize that we were already Facebook friends because we really didn't. You know, you got so many Facebook friends, you don't communicate with everyone. So I was like, oh, okay, well, see, we're Facebook friends, you know. So we had hooked up, you know, prior, but I just couldn't remember because you know, you meet so many different people, you network with so many different people. So I said, imagine her in my play, someone who went way down, I think it was Indianapolis, and won a crown from Wilmington, Delaware.
Wow. Wow.
That'd be amazing. And then I saw one of your sermons. I said, you know, for the narrator, it's a strong presence, nice deep voice, tall, projects. Some things are just natural, you know, with the both of you two. So I said, imagine having an apostle, you know, because I never had someone who held such a high title in my play. You know, it was just, you know, so I was like, wow, man, this is amazing. Let me try out Apostle Walker. Now, me and Apostle Walker, we met a while ago through my martial arts teacher, Kiyoshi Quentin Massey. And he was Sensei Quentin Massey when I first met him, but now it's Kiyoshi. He got promoted to 7th Dan, which is a beautiful thing. So, and we used to practice at Apostle Walker's church. And Apostle Walker, you know, he was a boxer and he was, you know, apostle. So I said, yeah. So you never know, years later, you know, what opportunity may fall. But Doshi, well, like I said, on top of the hour, you were part of the original cast when we first did the play back in August 27th. So when you found out that we were doing the play again, what was your reaction?
Oh, you know, I was just like, you know, like, really, are we going to really do it? Because I know it was like some talk, and I said, oh, I really better get on this thing right here. I better act like I know what I need to do. So, I mean, I was just like over the top again, excited, because I believe that the substance to the play is just so dynamic. You know, I've even talked to you about, you know, as it goes on to where it's going to go, because God is going to bless this play. I believe that in my heart of hearts.
Absolutely.
Right. Okay. And so what role do you know? The other two, Latoya plays female narrator, Apostle Walker plays male narrator. So what role do you play?
Well,
for those who don't know,
I just happen to be, you know, one of those. I guess I just kind of say like that 60 kind of militant. You know, have a passion for the children, and their children and their education. So I actually play teacher that has their doctorate, and she just wants to make sure that the equitableness is across the board for all, not just one particular race. So she's dedicated to her family. She's definitely dedicated to a field that I'm in personally as well, and that's education with
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Yeah. So prior to the program, we were discussing how one prepares for their character, how one masters their lines. So I want to ask you, all three of you, what the roles that you're playing, how are you preparing for this role, and what are the methodology that you use to remember your lines? Because everyone doesn't remember their lines the same way. Everyone has their own unique styles. You know, with me, I'll just go over a line maybe 3 times, all my lines, but I'll separate my lines from Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, and I go over them repeatedly. I don't write them down. I don't highlight them. I'll just go over them and then repeat them early in the morning, like maybe like 6 o'clock in the morning, because I'm my early bird, get it out the way. And then I got the rest of the day to myself. But I want to ask you three, whoever wants to go first, how do you prepare knowing your lines and getting into character?
Well, I'll go first. How I prepare for my lines is basically I'll read my lines and then I'll actually read them into like a recorder on my phone. And then I also write them down on an index card with the line on the top of the cue line, and which I'll have somebody, like most of the time it's my daughter, I have her just yell out a cue line and see if I can just pick up and go with, start reading off what I need to know. So basically, and then I'll take my recorder and I'll play it in my ear, just like you would listen to music, like the week of the play and stuff like that. I'll start to listen to it like that. But other than that, I'll just continue to write it over, because when I write and I speak, when I write it down, I retain more information as I write it and read it out loud. So that's how I prepare for my lines. I just constantly write them on the index cards and record them and listen to it.
Okay.
Well, mine should be easy. I'll go next because I have zero experience in the on stage. But you know what? One of the things for me is, I've obviously rehearsed some of these lines with my wife. I've done some with my mother. I'm going to continue to rehearse. But for me, being a pastor and having to put together sermons now for 20 or more years, for me, it is not as much remembering the lines as much as what am I really trying to convey. For me, it's been really grabbing the emotion of the narrator as well as that Roger, and really trying to make sure that I have the right emotions there so that people can believe it and can really, really see what I'm actually trying to say, which is exactly what I try to do when I prepare a sermon.
Yes, indeed.
Hey, Dose.
That just leaves me, and I'm like Sister Toy. Mine is written down. I got a script on my bed. I got a script downstairs on the table. I got a script in my car. I got a script at my job. So like I haven't been going hard, but last night it would be something that last night I just went hard. All I did was just take some of my long pieces and write them out. And the truth be told, from me writing it out, and then I recorded them. So I recorded and I listened, and I take that downtime. I put that practice in once I found her character, because I definitely had to find her character to make her be who she was. So it was practicing the lines, listening to the lines, writing the lines, listening to the lines. And again, just going into that, I call it the zone, where I'm not doing anything but becoming and immersing myself, I should say, into the character that I'm playing.
It's good. It's good stuff.
Yes,
one of probably the number one things that I really love about theater is performing in front of a live audience. Mm-hmm. And the audience can talk, especially when you perform in front of African American audience. I noticed that the most. They really talk back, hoop and holler, laugh. And I tell you, when we did the play back in August, there were scenes that I had no idea that the audience would react the way they did. And and someone that's on the panel, they had a cheering squad so loud. It was just completely amazing. So I know, Apostle Walker, this is your first time being in a play. However, with you being a pastor, apostle, you speak in front of a live audience at your place of worship, and as well as other places. So it's kind of like, although it's not a play, but you're doing a presentation like the play in front of a live audience. So I want to ask you three, whoever wants to go first, because we're having fun tonight. What is it like for you personally to perform in front of a live audience? Are you nervous? Are you overwhelmed? Are you excited? Do you feed off the audience when they cheer for you? What's your experience like?
Yeah, so I can go first. Well, I kind of do a little bit of everything. I'm always nervous, but I say the nervousness is part of life. If you're not nervous, then you're then you get too lackadaisical. Then you don't have nothing pushing you, let you know what's right and what's wrong and all that kind of stuff. So I'm nervous all the time. Even when I dance, people are like, you dance all the time, but you're not nervous. Yes, I am. My mouth is dry. Everything is going on. But I go in there. So I feed off the audience and I feed off the other actors, which is in that I'm interacting with in a particular scene. And also what drives me more is the fact that I do not want to let the director or whoever chose me to put me in that position, I do not want to let them down. So I kind of feed off of all the energy that's around me. All the energy, I lock it in and I turn it into all my nervousness. I turn it into success. That's what I do.
Wow, that's awesome. I guess I'll go next. How can you come behind something like that? Listen, for me, and I am a little bit of everything that you said, maybe not overwhelmed, but you know what? There's a lot of feeding off the audience. But for me, there's some nervousness there that's still there after over 20 years of preaching in front of live congregations. Yeah, there's still some nervousness there because of the seriousness of the subject matter. But I am generally so excited about what's going to happen because I've experienced some things behind the scenes that I'm excited about giving people a glimpse into what I've experienced. And I suspect that in this is going to be kind of similar in that in playing the part, having experience becoming the narrator or becoming that Roger or that position. I'm excited about people now getting to see it openly, what's been done in secret.
Yes.
Well, listen, y'all, that was one, and then two. I don't know what to say behind that.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
She got this. She got it.
You know her. Yes, you do.
Yes, ma'am. But what I say is that every single thing that my two other co-actors are that we all acting in the play together is that that dedication. I'm petrified at the stage. If I tell you I'm petrified at the stage, I'm petrified at the stage. But I love it. I love performing. I love dancing. I love that excitement of people. I love, the cheering on. I love that. Wow. Ooh, because I always say that when I go to see a performance myself, when I'm in the audience, those are the things I want to see. Yeah. What? So, but I have never got on the stage, even as young as like 6 and 7, doing Easter plays and all that, because nobody ever asked me in my era, did I want to do the Christmas program? They sent it home. Right. And we practiced it with mommy and we practiced it with daddy. We practiced it with mommy. My mother never came in and said, now listen, did you practice your part? Did you practice your part? Did you practice your... No. So, and then when I was in in high school, ever since 6th grade, I've always been in some kind of drama club. I'm petrified at the stage, but I love it as well. And to bring, as Sister Toy said, to want to bring the best.
Yes.
Because that's what we was taught. When you do something, because it was kind of funny before I even knew, I was like, Brother Omar, you can just give me the person that walk across the stage. He was like, okay, because I was just so excited when I got the first text to say that, hey, I did a play. Would you like to audition? I was like, yeah, So yes, petrified every time I get on there. I guess that's why I always try to zone in to get that craft, come out of Doshia and find whatever character that I have asked to be the character that was chosen for me.
Yes, indeed.
This play deals with some very serious issues. Mm-hmm. Each character has issues that they're going through that they must overcome, and the other characters offer support, love, and support to help those characters overcome their dilemmas. When we had rehearsal, or I don't know how many of you read the play from top to bottom, or at the very least, when we rehearse, you hear and see the issues that's going on in the play. What do you think? What's going through your mind whether you read the script entirety or when we have rehearsals and we see the characters going through their different emotions and the issues that they're going through? What what does that do to you? Are you amazed? Are you overwhelmed? I mean, what do you think about the issues? Because I want to hear from the actors, because the audience, you know, they're going to talk. They're going, you know, you'll see it on January the 7th. You'll hear the audience, but in terms of the actors and the actresses, I mean, I know that you focus on your particular character, and some of your particular characters go through those same type of issues, go through those same issues, but just when rehearsing, because it's some emotions, it's some serious subjects that's tackled. Who wants to go first?
Okay, I'm gonna go first again.
Oh man, the same order. Okay.
Well, when I'm sitting there and as I rehearse and I see and it's going through and I actually read through the character, because I didn't read it all the way through, but I have read it. What I'm going through, what I see is life, and what I see is beauty in this pure thing, meaning beauty as long as the person, you see life, meaning everybody has different circumstances, you don't know what they're going through, and beauty is part where they overcome their trials and tribulations and still walk successfully in their greatness. So that's what I see when I see the play, because that is life. Everybody around them has different circumstances, and what the play is telling me is everybody's fulfilled in this room. You got all these people in this room, but you don't know what the next person next to you got going on. It can be this mask behind the thing. You don't know why that person was locked up. You don't know why that person is always crying. You don't know why that person is upset, why that person is acting out, why that child may be crying. So they're also telling us underlining facts. So I just looked at it. It's just like life in this whole thing. To me, it's just, I'm going to say beauty, because of the fact that the play is allowing everybody to do what we should do, communicate and comprehend and understand, and to help everybody inspire and growth by understanding each person and still loving a person no matter their circumstances and conditions of what they're going through. So that kind of what I feel when I go in. It's just life. And that's a beautiful thing to me, because it's helping other people to understand that this person may be going through something and you may be going through something, but everybody receives it different. Everybody processes it different. That's how I look at it. That's what the thing for me. And I say it's beauty because of the fact of, to me, I teach my students, no matter what you're going through, do not let what your situation hinder your growth. That means just you got to overcome your trials and tribulations and walk successfully in greatness, and that's all that happens. And keep on praying and pushing forward, and keep on, no matter what you've been through or how you got there, just when you get, every time you open your breath, open their eyes, another day, just keep on pushing, no matter if you got locked up, no matter if you, what happened to you, don't be embarrassed by your circumstances. Don't be embarrassed by what you've been through. Just overcome it.
Awesome.
Oh, I love it. That's great. You know, for me, when and coming in and looking at the production, I was just amazed, you know, at the layers. You know, one of the things that I really liked about that, you know, in the time that we are in, you know, we're dealing with so many stereotypes, and this is what the Black community is like. And one of the things that I really liked about the play is that it really showed multiple layers. It showed us from various perspectives that we're not just one group and just one, you know, one group that just looks one way, but we have multiple ways of thinking. And I like this places where there was disagreement, where there were one thing said and another person has to bring another perspective. And I think it was just a wonderful view of community, you know, and what community really looks like and what it can be. You know, in some ways, this was about, you know, a play that brings us together. But I think it also was prophetic in this is what we could look like. Older people, younger people, people from different walks of life. We could actually be that. So in some ways, it's the hope of what our community could really be.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, without being judged. It
without being judged.
Yeah, without judgment, because that's what it showed. The play showed no judgment.
Right.
That's what it showed, no judgment. It's like we are able to agree and disagree, and our differences will help each other grow. Because if we was all the same, nobody would learn from nothing. And then you know, so that's why all of us different. We all go through something to teach somebody else something. You may not went through it to teach yourself, but you maybe went through it to be able to help somebody else guide through. Because if you knew if somebody hasn't ever went through it, how could they teach the other person how to get through it that's going through the same situation? That's kind of what I look at it like. It's like,
wait a minute, who's the preacher here? You better go ahead.
Got some competition, Posse. Got some competition.
I'm seeing it.
I just say that in a situation like this, I guess I always look at the back of our ancestors, because when we look at some of the things that have happened to us and the strength that we still carry, and the love for our families, and the love for our children, and the love for our parents. You know, people try to take and gnaw away and strip away some things, but just like Apostle and Sister Toria said, listen, we are still yet standing. So I say that this play right here, really, I just can't believe that you don't leave that theater with knowing, if not all of it, but knowing 1 to 2 of those people for real.
Yes.
And guess what those people did? Some people didn't make it. They didn't know how to do it. Right. Some people don't know that. You know what I mean? Some people don't know how to do some things, but listen, it let us know that in your strength, that may be your weakness, and your weakness is your strength. So what you do is you just keep on holding on, and you push the next day, and you push the next day. And before you know it, 3 years has went by. 5 years have went by. And if you're still in that same place, something is going on. That means you've not pushed. Because I can't tell you you're pushed for a situation. I just would pray that you wouldn't still be where you was at 10 years ago. Still there. Yes. And 10 years have went by, and you ain't pushed a little bit to make some things happen. So I just say, I believe that the play has somebody knows somebody in there if you don't know them all. Because it's life. Yes, and their situations. And we mask well. Yes. We have learned as a people to mask well. So we don't talk about some of those things called mental health. We just, I'm strong and I can do it. Sometimes you just can't. So,
yeah, you know what? And one of the things, if I can just chime in here, one of the things that I really liked about this play is that the help that was offered, you know, was real serious help in that group of those 6 strangers. But you know what? It didn't come from outside. It came from within that community group, and it kind of showed that everything that was needed, integrating someone back into society from being incarcerated. People have been abused, all the various things that help came from right within that small community. And again, it kind of shows the strength that is there that we just may not have tapped into.
Right, exactly. Yes, indeed.
You know what's amazing, well, LaToya, very first, I think it may be our first and second rehearsal. I think LaToya might have came in the second, maybe the second rehearsal.
Yes.
When we were in that little small conference room. And because the Women's Library had an event that same evening, Tommy Davidson had came, and while we were rehearsing, he came up, opened up the conference room, and said, "Are you guys the village people?" And like we wanted to take selfies with him, but the strange, well, not strange thing, but the amazing thing is that the Wilmington Carl Shaw, who's one of the cast members, said we need some volunteers. And LaToya, Miss Debbie, and KO had all volunteered to be ushers. And it was amazing for LaToya because, you know, she needed to do some community service hours, you know, as being crowned Miss Beauty Pageant, whatever the correct name is, I don't know. Nevertheless, I mean, your very first rehearsal, and you get to meet Tommy Davidson.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
What was that experience like? Because you and Debbie got pictures of them.
Yes, but that experience was like, because we're sitting there, and I wasn't even expecting of that because I was in the Wilmington Library. I didn't even know none of that, all that stuff went on to the Wilmington Library. And I've been here since 2004, and I ain't know they didn't do no. So I'm in there. That when they saw Tommy Davidson, and then we ushered, and then I got over there, and I got to speak with him, and he actually said Miss Grand Royal LaToya and my name, and he talked to me as he walked through. That was like, I was like, oh my God. If I didn't accept, I said, look at God, look at that. Because I was presented an opportunity that I was not seeking. Therefore, it opened the door for me to see. If I wouldn't have embraced the opportunity, I wouldn't have got the chance to meet Tommy Davidson right there. And for me, just meeting him and being in his presence in that atmosphere, it opened so many doors that I don't even know that's open yet. Right. So it's like an awesome experience. I was still saying, oh, I guess where I'm at. And cause I used to watch them when I was younger. That was like a wonderful experience. I was like,
me too.
thank you.
Living
And I told
color.
them, then I was like, thank you. It was like just so awesome. I'm like, wow, look at this. You know, it is supported me to the fact is like, you got to continue embracing your opportunities. You got to continue to walk in your greatness and your success. You don't know what's behind any door. You don't know at any moment you can meet anybody can be in that audience. And that's what happened. I just went there for practice right out of work, right out of school. And I didn't turn down the opportunity to be an usher. See, nothing's too big and nothing's too small to be a part of, to me. That's somebody's greatness. If you were offered to be a part of anything, even if somebody say, can you help me clean this trash up? That is their greatness. So you might have, to me, if I turn it down, I'm hindering their growth.
Right. Yeah. So I mean that was amazing. That was totally unexpected
awesome.
for all of us. But yeah, like once again, so as Doshi said, maybe someone's going to see this play, and we're going to take it as high as we possibly can, because I always wanted to go on tour. So we keep our fingers crossed and keep praying to God that that we take this play to its highest peak. And this is why it's very significant that we pray every time we rehearse. I mean, because prayer is. And then Doshi and Apostle, but they can pray, but they be breaking it down.
I just be letting them know how great he is.
That's right.
That's what you call it, Brother Omar. Then you call, but because I could just take that and we could just, that's how he is to us.
Right. One of the things that I really took note of with this particular play is that actors and actresses, some have morals and values, and not everyone can play or want to play. Let me say want to play a particular role. So I want to ask all three of you: is there a particular type of character that you really, really, really refuse to play?
Well, as for me, I don't have a particular character. It's just when it's presented to me, I listen to all my intuitions and stuff like that. So it hit me. So like, for example, when I was reading the one part of Minister Tammy, it hit me so hard in my gut. Like it felt so bad because of the fact that I know it's so close to home. I know, like my best friend, she went through that particular thing. And then I started looking. It kind of made me do a 360 looking around. Like, and I worked with you. I just didn't feel good about me. I knew that wasn't me. I knew it was just playing a character, but I didn't feel good just telling a kid to come and do this because that's something I'm against. So that like a character, like it gotta hit me in my gut for me to say I can't play that character. But like I couldn't play like a character that did something too. Now I could have been somebody that went through it. Like I went through it, I said it, but leading to that, I couldn't. That it hit me so bad in my gut. And when something hit me in my gut like a burning feeling, I said, I can't do it. And I just stopped. And I'm like, I can't do it. That's why I asked. I said, is it okay? I was like, is it okay if I can't do this? And you were very understanding because it was just so hard for me to process it. It was really hard for me to process it. Mm-hmm. So that kind of character, I couldn't do that because I don't like that fact that I know it happens, but it was so close to home. It was just like, oh my gosh, if I put this in, I got so many students that people trust their kids in my hand. And because society trains us to think crazy. And sometimes you don't got to think crazy, but sometimes they think crazy. And then I'll be like, how many students going to go this? And then I didn't want my friend to come to the play because I know she's going to come. Then she may feel something. I didn't want to touch nothing that she was like, so you were playing this and, I've been through this. I started thinking all over the block. So it hit me real hard. That's why I couldn't play it. So I just think if it hits me hard in my gut, I will be like, I can't really play that. That's when I know I really couldn't play. It'd be so hard for me to do so. I wouldn't be able to do it. I don't think I could get paid $1 million to do it. I don't think so because that's something I don't like that. Like I don't like the character, even though I know that happens. It's just stuff I don't like that. Just like I don't like bullying and stuff like that. But I could play that in the thing. But that I cannot. I don't like that.
Well, I guess I'll chime in on this one here. I think there are some things that do touch us down in the gut, as Victoria said. And I know that I would not now, I might could play a lady of leisure if that's all I had to do, but I don't think I could do nothing that nobody would really touch me and feel me. I just didn't think don't think that that would be comfortable. And I don't know that I could do, I guess it would depend on how much abuse with somebody, hitting somebody, husband, wife kind of stuff like that, what I could do. But I know for a fact, I wouldn't do anything that I felt like with any kind of way, not considered an honor to like my dad and stuff. You know, so that kind of, you know how your name is, this all you got?
Right, right.
It's kind of things like that.
Okay,
yeah, I totally agree with that. You know what? I mean, for me, again, not having a lot of experience there, but I recognize the importance of plays in cinema and what people see, but also recognize that life and how you live, and people recognize you in your regular life is extremely important as well. So yeah, there's some lines I would draw. There's certainly some lines that anything that would really denounce, denigrate, come against my faith, I would definitely not do anything like that. And as a married man and having certain particular morals, there are some positions, not going through anyone specifically, but there's some lines that I would definitely look at and recognize that might hinder, it may be wonderful for me from a cinematic standpoint or from a play standpoint, but might hinder me in the life that I'm living and the work that I'm actually trying to do in people's lives. So my goal would be to put them together and to make sure that what I projected, on a stage, I could also protect in my real life. Because whatever image that you project, that's the image you got to protect.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed.
Wow, that's a good one, Apostle.
Perfectly put together. Perfect.
Yes, we should have let you go first on that one.
I'm like, I second that.
I did a radio interview this past Saturday, in promotion of the play. And one of the things that I told the radio host, we have, I don't know, maybe 13, 14, 15, I can't think offhand, people that's involved in this play, assistant director, and the rest are actresses. One of the major things that I come from that I really think about is that, when you have a lot of people, you deal with multiple personalities, you deal with egos, you deal with competition, sometimes conflict, but we have none of that in this play. We all support one another. Apostle Latoya, you came in new, along with Alicia, along with Carl Shaw. You came in new. You were open with open arms. So I don't know if anyone wants to comment, but when you have a group of people coming together, and the goal is to present a particular type of project in front of a lot of people. And we come to rehearsal every Thursday. Like I said, we pray, we support one another. We help one another for lines. We help one another with directions and blocking. That's a beautiful thing. Because sometimes we have multiple people, like I said, sometimes it just takes one and things crumble. But with the blessing of God, we're in unity.
Yes.
If anyone wants to comment on that, they can. If not, I can move on to the next question.
Yes, indeed.
Well, I think, Omar, I think a lot of that has to do with you. You being a part of, setting an atmosphere that I think is comfortable and conducive, and that is, not heavy-handed. And I think that, in a lot of ways, the people that you've chosen, that you picked, have been a blessing. And I think they have helped. Especially with me just coming in new, I walked into an environment that was very open, and just seeing people who were really helpful with someone who'd never done this is a testament not only to them, but it has a lot to do with you, as a person who kind of orchestrated and put everybody together.
Yes, indeed. I agree with that. And I also say, like, when I walked into the room for the first time, everybody like welcomed me and stuff like that. I didn't feel like I was being judged, like, who is she? Because I had already saw that I had missed the first practice. I was like, I was just coming from work, and you know what I mean? Because sometimes when you walk into an environment, as soon as you know that you feel as though you got to explain yourself, you're more nervous, you're more like bunched in. But it was like a relaxed environment. Everybody said hello, everybody said hi with a smile, or everybody looked at you, maintain eye contact, and gave you the thing. Everybody welcomed them and stuff. Like, it wasn't like nobody was competing against each other. It was like everybody had to understand, and like, yes, this is a play and I got to do my best, but the only person that I'm in competition with is myself. So therefore I can be my true and authentic self. So therefore there was no sense of I got to be better than this and I got to outdo her, I got to outdo him. It was just the fact of I'm competing against myself. So as long as I do my best, then I'm winning.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And I just say to all of that, of course, I believe as has been spoken that Brother Omar, because of your persona, you brought a certain kind of energy there. I believe that a good 99.9% of us love the Lord. So guess what? We all been new someplace sometime, and it's nothing worse than going in somewhere and people act like, oh, hi. I'm not that the oh, hi is okay, but then we're going to be nothing but hello. So I just say I praise and thank God for the spirit of the living God of wanting to be on one accord for the greatness of your play, and that we want to please our Lord to make things right because we want to be unified. Yes. And unity doesn't have, big eyes and little eyes. It's just you and I, T.Y.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. It's the unspoken standard for me. It's an unspoken standard because like I said, I've met Mr. Omar. I call him Mr. sometimes a while ago, but then just talking to him, you can see that you can see he's about his business. And his mind is always going, but he's also stern in what he say, but he doesn't present that. He's present more like a calm. He's approachable. He doesn't, but he has that demeanor that you're gonna come over here. I'm gonna understand what you're gonna say. I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say. We're gonna meet the happy median. So he sets the standards, and therefore he gravitates to people who is just like him. I'm gonna say like, and then because everybody's not the same, but just like him. So his unspoken standards is what put us in the position that when he's casting, he's not just casting to fulfill a thing. He's casting for success. He's casting for the whole ambiance of unity. Like everybody's saying, like he's casting for that. He's not casting like, oh, I need to just get this person because I want to make money. He's casting for a whole different purpose.
So when people come see the play,
yes,
what type of emotions are they going to have?
Emotions is going to be all over the place because every character. I'm going to say every character is in everybody's family. Everybody has one of each character in each thing. So it's going to touch everybody differently. People going to laugh. Some people may cry. Some people going to stand up and scream at the character. And they're going to be, ooh, ah, we talk to TVs all the time, but it's going to be so many emotions going to be all over the place. And that's that is success right there because you're touching everybody in every different way. You're reaching everybody that's at the sound of your voice. You're reaching everybody, and that's what you want to do with your mission. You want to reach everybody, and that's exactly what you're doing with this play. Because as I listen to the thing, it's like I can relate to each character, and some of them I can relate, and I'm gonna say mostly all of them I can relate to personally.
It's deep.
Yeah.
You know what?
I just believe. Oh, go ahead, Apostle.
Well, you know what? I think you know what I mean. I think that what you got there, and Doshi, I should go first because I'm sure what you're gonna say is probably gonna close it all out.
Oh, stop there, Apostle.
But you know what I mean. I think that it also, for me, it gives a view of change and what change looks like. I mean, in looking at that, I didn't see anyone going into that and coming out the same exact way. And I suspect that the audience is going to have a different look at education. A different look at incarceration, a different look at ministry, a different look at everything that's there. They may have come in with one way, but I suspect that people are going to walk away educated and definitely enlightened by what they see. They may look at their society a little bit differently.
Exactly, a learning experience.
Learning experience.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Absolutely.
And it says to you, audience, to whoever you are sitting in the audience, that listen, you can do it. You can make this thing happen, whatever that thing is.
Amen.
Whatever that thing is. And again, here we go with the push. Got to put something in. You don't know. You know, Big Mama make a good cake, but my Big Mama take her time. Them eggs are at room temperature. That butter is at room
That's
temperature.
right.
Huh?
Exactly.
She takes that egg and whip it in. We want to throw all the 6 eggs in. It's 1 egg at a time. You want a different kind of blender because you want the air to come through. Come on, don't play. This way right here is going to marinate.
Yes.
Change.
Yes.
As we say, I heard it. Some lives, some situations. It's going to break some strongholds on some people. Some people going to think that somebody had something on them. They think they got it, and they're going to realize, you know what? I've been my worst own enemy.
Exactly.
I don't have to do this. So I say that you cannot come out of that play not learning something that will impact you or somebody else close to you. But again, like I said, I'm just not going to believe as an adult that you don't know somebody of one of those 6 characters and more.
Exactly.
Preach.
Yes,
right.
Exactly.
So on that note, we're going to close the program out. January 7th, Saturday, 2023, Wilmington School, 4101 Washington Street, Wilmington, Delaware, 19802. Tickets are $30 for general public. You can email me. If you want to reserve, you can email me at omarrashada@yahoo.com. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being guests. It was a great show. And,
thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Omar.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Appreciate you guys.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Appreciate you guys. I love you all. Thank you.
Be good. Be
please
safe.
like, subscribe, and share. Like, subscribe, and share. Okay, bye. See y'all later on this week.
See you guys.
All righty.
All righty.